Well, hey, everybody. As folks are filing it in, if you are here for AI office hours, you good people are in the right place. Before we get into our program, and as we're giving people some time here, if you could maybe just drop something in the chat to say hello, hi, how are you? Just so that we can know that everybody, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Wow. Okay. Guys, we got a lively group today. This is awesome. All right. Just a quick mic check. Eugene, hello.
Hello.
Everything's working? Yep. Michelle, hello. Everything's working? You're messing
Hi.
with me. You are totally messing with me.
One of
All
those
right,
days.
everybody, we're gonna get moving here. My name's Jason Claus. I'm the director of marketing here at Insight. We are so glad you're here for office hours. I'm joined by Michelle Brzezinski. I like to call her the Wizard of Brez because she's just so smart with all of these things. I'll save you the other joke, but Michelle, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you as always for making time. It's always fun to get to hang out with you. And a relative newcomer, but he's punching above his weight every time he shows up. Eugene Matisco, he is one of our platform developers. He's going to be our primary content leader today. Eugene, thank you, man. Really appreciate you making time. You're looking sharp in your Insight collar shirt. I love that. I got mine going too. Michelle,
I have mine.
there we go. Perfect. All right. Now, folks, we were expecting for Mr. Stephen Hicks to be joining us today to help us with some of our cybersecurity related questions or security related questions to Copilot and AI. Unfortunately, the poor guy is just for 2 days. He has just that's just so not nice.
No, not that he's sick, but then, we don't have to listen to him.
Well, we don't have to listen to him tell us what we can't do, which is good.
Exactly.
But Stephen, as you watch this recording, we really hope you're feeling better soon because you are missed. We love having you on these things.
100%.
And we're Insight. There's some names here that I don't recognize, so maybe we're not getting to work with you just yet. Insight, we do computer system support for companies in Northern California and Southern California. We work with some law firms in Hawaii. That includes things like help desk and long-term planning and strategy and helping them with their lifecycle management. It also includes things like cybersecurity and helping them try to figure out, our clients try to figure out, okay, what is this thing called Copilot and AI and ChatGPT and N8N and all these different things that are out there? And more importantly, for my business, how might this be of use to me? And how can we employ this in a safe and meaningful way to have some sort of impact on the business? And we've got some things that we're pretty proud of. That's what's on the slide. We do this content for everybody, not just for our clients, and just because fundamentally we believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. It's very consistent with our core values, which are the little medallions there. That endeth our commercial. So thank you for being here. To all our clients who have carved out time to be here, thank you for making time. We hope you're really going to enjoy this program. Eugene has worked hard on it. I've talked a lot. I don't know if that's really work. Our agenda for today, Eugene's going to walk us through an example. We sent out a survey, and Eugene, we have a customer relationship management example, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be walking us through. We did have some time carved out for Stephen to chat, but like I said, he's not going to be here, and we don't feel comfortable going into his the elements that he had, so we'll skip that. Stay tuned at the end, though. We are going to be doing cybersecurity office hours. We'll make sure that we get that content in that one in October, and then hopefully we'll have more time for Q&A. With that, we'll bring Eugene in here. I'll give you a moment, folks, to just kind of read his credentials. But Eugene really knows this work and is working with a lot of our clients on it right now. He's a hitter here, and we're really lucky to have him, particularly because he's just so darn busy. So, Eugene, why don't you take it away and walk us through the example that you have for us today?
Sure. All right. Thank you. Let me set up a screen share. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'm currently showing my screen. If you're unable to see that, please mention something in the chat. Otherwise, I'll assume everyone else can. Let me set the tone here a little bit today. First, hey, thanks for having me back. It's the second AI webinar that I've done. We're building a little bit off of the last one that we did with prompting. So this one we will be using prompting again today, building a live Copilot. So we've all heard about Copilots, AI assistants, but what exactly does it look like when you try to build one for yourself? So today we're going to do a super simple walkthrough of building a Copilot from scratch in real time. None of this is done in advance, so you'll get to see everything warts and all. If I hit a couple of errors, it's just as if you would too, and we'll be able to walk through those and debug on our own, see if we're satisfied it and how to go back and make updates. So famous last words, let's do it live. Think of building a Copilot, specifically a Copilot agent as think of it as Legos of AI. We snap pieces together, and by the end of this, you'll actually see this live inside of Microsoft Teams, or you could put this on a SharePoint site. With some of the advanced options, you could actually even tie this into the company LinkedIn page or your Facebook wall or your public website. I mean, where you could put this pretty much, you'll see the available options and channels, but we're going to keep it simple. So why does it matter? The idea isn't that you need to hire or become a developer. Copilot Studio is made with low code, no code, and it's about anyone empowering citizen developers to be able to create some of these items and the ability to make your own assistants. Um, Everything we do today, I won't write a single line of code. By the end of it, you'll hopefully be comfortable enough and build these for your own and start to leverage uniquely how each of you should handle this inside of your own organization. It took me about 8 hours to prep for today's meeting. Three-quarters of that was to actually build some mock data inside of a mock CRM that we were going to be connecting to. Everything else was pretty much writing scripts. So um, there's a lot of options here. We're going to go through the basic ones. If anyone wants to have a deeper dive, we do send out crowdsourced questions to our audience. Feel free to respond to those, and you'll pretty much steer where we're going to go with our next set of videos. Let's set
Yeah.
this.
And Eugene, before you keep going further, I think you kind of briefly touched on it, but you've chosen to build a custom set of tables organized into a CRM. But for a lot of our clients, this could very easily be plugging into your Salesforce instance, to your HubSpot instance, to your Dynamics instance. And so be looking at it through that lens. Those connectors probably already exist. At least I know most of them do. And if not, the capabilities exist to connect to those systems.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone is going to have something unique when it comes to their CRM. You could have yours in SharePoint today. I've elected to create one using Power Platform inside of Dataverse that I'm showing with a model-driven app here. That's a Power app. Um, it was just a matter of linking the tables, the deals, the contacts, the accounts, the activities, some of the workflows, some of the filters you're seeing here. I could see it in a tabular format, or I could see it in a gallery format. Double clicking into some of these items. Literally, I built this in less than a day to go through and run through a case. All of this is unique. Today, we're going to be connecting to Dataverse tables, but this could just as easily connect into any of your systems today. If they have a direct connection, it'll be a lot easier. But as long as they have any RESTful API service, without getting too technical, we can connect to it in real time, or you could pump data back and forth and sync it on an hourly basis. So once again, I'll try to keep this high level. If anyone has any questions of how it integrates with some of their systems, that's what we're here for the Q&A at the end or the follow-up questions. All right. So for today's focus, we had three choices when we put this out about a month ago to crowdsource. So everyone, the community decided for us. The three options we gave people: how about an email agent that automatically responds intelligently to anything that comes in to commonly asked questions? The other one was an HR bot. We've all probably seen those online that you could actually wire this to any of your policy documents. If you have something documented, it's great that actually somebody can go there and say, what's the temporary leave absence at my company, and actually getting that information out instead of always having to ask somebody the same question. How do I opt into my 401k? So those are out there as well. CRM won for today by about 2 votes. I think the second place one was actually the HR bot, but hey, once again, participate in some of those, and we do crowdsource those for which one we're going to utilize. There are 3 types of Copilot agents. Let's cover those, what we're going to do today. There's retrieval, task, and autonomous or agentic. A retrieval bot is probably what we've seen before, where you go to GPT, you type something in, it analyzes, goes to its knowledge, and it brings it back to you. A task agent can do everything a retrieval can. So you can ask it information and it can give you answers, but it could take it a step further. This is the one where if you're using tools like Zapier, N8N, Power Platform, some of the others, our Copilot agent, you're wiring it the ability to have a tool to use as well. So not only can you retrieve information in our CRM, actually have it do some actions for you, like create me a new opportunity at client D for next Wednesday, and you set all of those parameters right in the chat, and it'll actually go create that entry in that third party system on your behalf. So that's a task driven agent. The last one is autonomous or agentic. These are the ones that run on their own, and you've given it special abilities and permissions to actually listen for special triggers and then take certain actions. These are more the advanced ones that are out there. More than happy to show those. If we would have done the auto respond, it would have been agentic. If we would have done the HR bot, that would have been a retrieval. For today's session, we're going to do the CRM. This is a retrieval bot. But the best part here, this looks like it's going to be one in a three-part series. So it looks like we are going to elaborate and go into some of the others. But today we're going to focus on just the first one, retrieval. How do I hook something up, use natural language to get items I want? So let's dive in a little bit deeper. You'll see my little CRM that I've created here is different tasks, opportunities. It's showing different dates. I could sort, get information back about specific clients I have. Yeah, pardon me, I only have about 5 or 6 in here, but the different accounts they have, I could search, filter, bring anything up. So this data resides in a Dataverse table. So let's actually wire a Copilot up to it. But by the end of this session today, here's the things I hope you'll be able to take away. One, we're going to create an agent from scratch. It's a blank shell, and you'll be able to see how we fill in the spackling to do 90% of what we need. Go into all of those advanced features. We're going to add instructions. These are the brains. What can it access, as well as the personality of how it will respond to you. We're going to add knowledge. Think of this as the memory. And then we're going to connect it to our tables. We're going to test it live, and then we're going to publish it to teams where the entire team can now collaborate. So let's jump on over and actually get started. So the best way to get started is to go to Copilot Studio. Microsoft.com. I elected to go to Copilot Studio Preview.microsoft.com. It opens up some new options inside of our development tenant that we're in. You have 2 choices from here. I could jump right into configure. Since I know where everything is at and I've done this for a while, I know what I'm looking for and I could get there. But let's say you don't. How would you actually like to go through here? And they made it so easy. They're just going to ask you a set of questions and it's going to do the thinking for you and build 80% of that act. So you'll notice one of the first things it's going to ask is, hey, could you tell me a little bit about what this is? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? So in this particular one, I say, I want to access our company CRM data. I want it to give insightful answers to users making requests. Something as easy as that. I didn't have to write a book. I didn't have to say how. We're going to fine tune this as we go. So let's actually start digging in. You notice on the left-hand side is usually the item Copilot is going to drive us through to create our agent. And we're going to test on the right. So notice it already started bringing some information up. It already drew some of the contextual information. It's even going to recommend some of the ideas we have, but it's now asking you, hey, let's fine tune this a little bit. So what do we want to call our particular agent? So it's going to make a suggestion. You could just say, yes, that looks good. Or you could tell it, I want something else. So to me, that looks pretty good. CRM Insight Assistant. If I wanted to, I could make this AI webinar. CRM Insight Assistant. Probably should have found a nicer acronym there. But the point is it's going to walk you through these steps. It's going to rename things. And it's going to bring those up. So as it goes through and cranks this up, it's going to start dialing that in. It's going to tell me, hey, this is ready. Notice it already renamed the information here. But now it's asking me a little more detail. Like, hey, could you tell me a little bit of what you want this thing to do and some of the inquiries and questions and how you want to handle that? such as sales inquiries, support, or anything else. So once again, use natural language like you're talking to somebody of what do you want this to do? In the back, it's using AI to actually figure out all of the use cases that you need and the processes and instructions that it will start feeding into the agent if you weren't comfortable giving those from the start. So let's say, hey, I've got an accounts, contacts, deals, and activities data, um, sales rep information and owners. Pretty much just giving that information here is what I need. Say, this is what I want it to do. So it'll actually get that awareness. It's going to now say, hey, everything is about set up. Go ahead and get started. And then we're going to jump over to the configure menu and you'll show everything that it filled in by itself. And then we're going to start fine tuning it. So basically it's saying, hey, great, let's go. Let's actually, hey, would you like to include any URLs? So now it's asking for knowledge. An LLM is a natural language model that's actually out there. Consider it the brains. We now have to connect it to memory, something to access, something for it to look at. So it's asking you about, hey, do you have any URLs you want me to look at? Or do you have any other knowledge sources? And we're going to move over and set those to the CRM backend databases that we have. So let's actually move ahead and just hit create. From here, it's actually going to go through, it's going to configure some of that information, it's going to fill it in. Don't get overwhelmed with all of the options here. You can get a fully functional, well-suited Copilot agent with just about 5 or 6 things that you give it. Now, where it shines is you needed to do specific things and things specific to your case. And absolutely, it can do that as well. Once again, deeper dive if we want to go into those, by all means, hey, I'll host a session around that as well. So notice it's now taking us into where if I went to configure before, we're coming here right now. So notice it already populated my description. It's turned on orchestration, which is a nice way of saying I'll handle whatever a person asks for. I'll access my knowledge and my tools, and I'll do the best I can to reply to them. But notice, without even me giving it instructions before, based off of what I told it to do, filled that in for me right here. The only thing it's missing right now is that knowledge. So let's go ahead and add some knowledge for it. Now you know that, okay, what can I give it? So if you come in here, I can give it a public website. So if you wanted to access a publicly available website and let that group keep updating the information and have the agent check there for its knowledge, you could put that in here and immediately give it a URL. It's part of its knowledge. Do you have a SharePoint folder or a SharePoint list? Couldn't tell you how many times, the bane of my existence, somebody says it's in SharePoint. That drives me nuts because we've all gone to SharePoint and put into the top bar, I'm looking for this file and maybe it'll find it, maybe it won't. It's called, it's indexed in a way that doesn't really come back. It's almost like looking for keywords. It's not vector indexed, which is the smart indexing that could actually take place. So if you put this over the top of multiple or even a single SharePoint and you're asking it good questions, guarantee you're going to get 100 times better results. And you can set that up probably in about 15 minutes. I can connect to Dynamics 365. I can connect to Salesforce. I can connect to ServiceNow, Azure SQL, Dataverse, which I'm going to do because that's the actual back end of what I built mine in, but I'm going to point to those tables. Once again, if you don't see something here, they're adding more every day. There's Zendesk, some of the others. And the best part is, if you have a RESTful service, like I connect to Zoho. Well, Zoho has a RESTful API. You'd have to create a custom connector or pump your data out on a timely basis that we would connect to on-prem or off-prem. So there are ways to make this work even if you don't see what you want to in this list. Let's come back to Dataverse. I know where my tables are at. I've called 5 of my tables right here. I've got contacts. I've got accounts, activities, deals, and the internal sales reps. Just giving it this, it knows the relationships. It knows how to put things together. It knows if I ask something of who belongs to what company, it's going to figure that out on its own. As soon as I hit add to agent, it can immediately add it to its knowledge. If I also have, now we know, hey, connecting to data is one thing, but how does it know my company's process, how we do things? I guarantee most people usually have a policy document where somebody wrote something up for what is the process that our company uses for onboarding new people or creating a new opportunity? What are the sequence of the steps? Where do I go to? You write that into a document, and I'm going to show you now because I do have one that I wanted to show off a little bit. I created something of how to use my CRM. And I'm going to upload a file. So I called this one a knowledge pack. And once again, I can select it's a PDF file, it's a Word document. You can even say it'll take text documents. It can even take images, JSON document. Give it what you want it to do. It'll index it. It'll understand it. Here's one step you need to do. AI, it's very important. We all want to just go to add. Resist that urge. Come to your description here. And what you want to do here is give it a better description of why would it access this document. So by default, it says, hey, this knowledge source searches information, blah, blah. Let's actually give it something a little more specific. How our company and employees do our CRM entries, FAQs, and reporting. So now it knows if somebody asks a question related to this topic that's in conjunction with some of the other tables, it'll grab that context and it will know, ooh, I should probably check this document. Now, one item to note,
Do you have a chance to show off that document a little bit? Kind of what some of the, not to get too deep into it, but like what some of the structure of that is? Everybody has different kinds of policy documents. This needs to be written text, I believe, not just a workflow diagram, but I may throw a monkey wrench at you, and I apologize for that.
oh, you just want to see what's in my homework. Yes.
I think it's insightful. You're usually really comprehensive when it comes to instructions and documentation and that kind of thing. And so, giving people an idea, it's not just a 1 or 2 line thing of go here, do this, and then put this in there. Right? These are some pretty comprehensive instructions, and the more comprehensive the instructions, the better the agent really is going to be.
Yeah, hold on. And you want to know what? Even though Michelle's my boss here, I cheated. I used AI to actually. So
Very meta of you.
here's my knowledge pack. Well, like I said, you all know I probably live and die by AI. So once again, I just created something. When I was creating the model and what I had to put in, I basically told AI, hey, write me something that we could follow. And once again, this is just some context, but it says, hey, here's our pack. If somebody asks for the application URL, it'll know how to ask that. Bring it in. If you cannot open it, contact IT. I could have said an email here. So if we ask our agent, but it won't open for me, it'll say contact IT. It shows you how the relationships work if anyone asks. It actually goes through what the fields mean. I mean, you put this in there, and if somebody says, I don't know in your application what this disposition means on a particular activity. So if you ask the Copilot that, it will give you that description, and hopefully you'll be able to understand that better moving forward. I even threw in this document down a little bit lower FAQs. So FAQs are great for AI. If you've taken the time to invest to write an FAQ document, that's exactly what the agent wants to know. That will force somebody to actually ask that question, hopefully without an email to a staff member that has answered that 4,000 times before, and they can actually get the answer immediately. So this is the knowledge that I gave this particular document. Michelle, did I miss anything there?
No, no, and I'll just make some comments while you switch screens again. But one of the things that these FAQs and these instructions do, if we're entering, if we're starting to do process through agents like this, you get more uniform entry, right? So we don't have missteps. We don't have a document that stays live on my SharePoint site that nobody ever pulls up when they're actually going to do work and miss things that got added to the document since the last time they reviewed it. So all of these things they're important to have policy wise if you're going to standardize on anything, but certainly for AI, it's critical.
Very good. All right, so I'm back sharing live. For some reason, somebody can't see it. Hey, give me a shout. You'll notice when you're uploading documents, or if you give it an entire SharePoint library, you may have to walk away. It may be 4 to 8 to 16 hours or more, depending on how much you're giving it, because it's doing something called vector indexing. Without getting too technical, it's figuring out a really smart way, better than the keyword searches you've done in the past, and understanding that Apple is not just a fruit. If you're talking about technology, understand the Apple company a little bit better, and it gives numerical values to some of the weighted items that are in there. So it makes it smarter. So this could take some time. Um, let's just move ahead though. And with these two, let's actually jump right into testing. Let's find out, what did this do? One last thing before I do that, let me jump into settings. We're going to go over some of the high level settings. They're all their own tabs. Don't worry about those. We're going to stay right here. We're only going to worry about a couple here on the generative page. One, by default, generative AI is on. Let it handle where to go to depending on the user's questions. Um, I could have Copilot agents talk to Copilot agents. This is something new that they released in Microsoft Build back in May. This allows a universal Copilot to actually hand it off to one that does specific tasks. So you could actually have one whole Copilot hand off to another. So you're actually having like an agent boss sit over the top and dispense this to the other agents. Once again, don't worry about that too much, but if you ever want to interconnect agents and actually make them a little more modular, this allows that. We've all probably seen there's different models. Well, by default, we're going to use the 4.0. You all know this. Microsoft has a little bit of a collaboration with OpenAI, or if you've heard of ChatGPT. So as soon as GPT-5 comes out, this was available a couple days later. Unlike some of the other tools that you're using, you won't be able to access Grok here. Some of the others, as the brand new things come out, even Google's items are not here. But you will have these. The best part about this as well, you can also access Azure's AI Foundry and have access to over 11,000 different models. So if you have one specific for your manufacturing needs, or your law needs, or one that's trained on that specific information, you could actually set that up with a subscription and it'll actually start using those models as well. But for today, let's just keep it at GPT-4. Let's go down to the last two important settings. So the response formatting, you could tell it outside of its instructions exactly how you want it to respond. I get a chuckle when I was like, this is where you could tell it, speak in Shakespearean English, talk like a pirate. Probably not going to do that. So let's actually stick in one I built right here. You should be professional, direct, to the point. It should be friendly and even anticipate what a user may ask next, and ask them if they'd like to do a follow-up question relative to the discussion that's going on. So it's going to try to anticipate, what are you asking this question for, and ask you that follow-up. Would you like me to do this? Would you want to go here next? You could choose to ignore it, or you could ask a follow-up, but you're getting the idea of how I'm telling it to do this. So if you're asking something, this is an important one as well. If you're asking something outside of the knowledge, politely tell them you don't have that information. We don't want it to hallucinate. We don't want it to go out to the web and try to find an answer. Sometimes that is useful. If I wanted to get product information that I don't have in my knowledge, you can go out to the web and bring that back. For our CRM and our processes, I don't want it to go out and find something and give wrong answers. So that'll lead me to the last item that I have down here. I'm going to leave general knowledge on. It basically means it knows some of the basic jargon internally specific to a topic. So you're talking to CRM, it'll be a CRM expert. This one I'm turning off. Use information from the web. Once again, I don't want it to go out there. I don't want it to find and hallucinate and bring things back that is not inside my sources for this use case. Once again, all of these are really intimidating at first, but I'm showing you the ones that matter. So with those two changes, and I'm not going to go into any of these other ones today, let's go back and actually, hey, how did we do? So we're going to come back over to our agent. Let's ask it some questions, because it's like, hey, I'm kind of ready to know. I've got a set of instructions here. I've got everything else that I need. How do I get started? So in this case, let's Un momento. Let me grab my first question that I have because I didn't think y'all want to sit here and have me type on screen. Let's ask the question that I know is in our database. Like, hey, how about something quick? Show me the phone number and the website for TechCorp. So in the left-hand side, this is the developer preview. Users wouldn't ordinarily see this. They'll only see what's on the right, but you get to see what it's doing. So it knows I'm searching these things. I'm finding this information. And if you had it do multiple steps, it would bring that back. But here's what it did. Went out to our knowledge source, our accounts, found TechCorp, actually gave me a nice little link without me even saying, hey, if it has a website, show it. That could have been in my instructions, but it even built me a nice hyperlink here. Um, we did elect to keep on. How did I do? You could turn this off, but it's good for anyone that you have reviewing an agent out there to find out, hey, a lot of people didn't like this answer. Maybe I should craft a different response or a different set of instructions around when somebody goes through a particular topic. So let's go to the next one. How about, I don't know, let's find out. Hey, give me the names, titles, and phone numbers for all the contacts at TechCorp in a tabular format. So now I'm even telling it how to respond to me. And I kind of like tables. I like to see things laid out. Let me make a little more room, almost like a chat experience that you would see full screen. And notice, wham, hey, brought everything back. It did even give me what's called a citation. It's good. It's actually, where'd you get this information from? You even scroll down, you could even go to the rationale. How did it get to this answer? It'll actually come in here, it'll generate and say, hey, I got here because they asked about TechCorp. I know I went to the accounting table, I went to the contacts table, I tried to bring those in. And if I even click this link, it's going to take me into my CRM application. It's good to check this before you publish. Right? Is everything working the way you expect? And in this particular case, if I go to my account and I filter by TechCorp, I should see 5 entries. Oh, good sign. 5. Perfect. All right. So let's.
Hey, Eugene, can I jump in really quick? We have a question in the chat right now that kind of touched on some settings you just turned on and off.
Yeah.
And I think you can answer this pretty quickly. So somebody had asked, how reliable is Copilot? I just attempted to use it to analyze a sales document, and it made up distributor information that wasn't in the file. And I'm assuming this is that the web knowledge source that you're turning off in that setting that probably restricts that down to just the knowledge source you give it.
That's the most likely place that I would go to. I have seen it where it can hallucinate and actually go out there, but yeah, there's a couple settings, and I would put explicitly in my instructions, almost like you saw me do earlier. Only use the knowledge sources you have available to you. Do not use the web. In addition to turning off both of those settings that we saw for don't use the web. If it still persists, I've seen that once before. Try deleting your source out and adding it back in. Believe it or not, I had a couple other clients that did that. The last item is depending on where that source was located. Let's say you had it in a SharePoint folder. Um, Make sure that the Copilot agent has access to that folder. We had a client that actually wanted to build a Copilot agent on top of a SharePoint. They had a third-party item monitoring over the top. It didn't allow it in, and it started hallucinating something terrible. So make sure it has the proper access.
Cool. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, let's give it a couple more just to see if we're satisfied with this. In this particular case, if you saw me iterate in the last session, don't be afraid to ask follow-up questions like you're having with a pal. Like, hey, that was a nice table, but do that again. This time, give me their department as well. Or I could say their preferred contact. Nope. Okay, I'll go off script.
Here we go live again.
In there, and I'm even going to spell it wrong because once again, it's natural language. Let it figure that part out. I'm going to tell it to bring back the department and the preferred contact method. Because they do say I have like to be contacted by Teams or anything else, or an email or a face-to-face meeting. But once again, you're telling it, hey, go find this. Bink. Brings it back. As long as it has access to that data, it'll come back. And since our security guy isn't here, it is important to note, be careful where your data is at. I can have the agent reply back with my permissions no matter who's asking. It's smart to probably only allow it to have the same permissions as the users you have. So if somebody is authenticated into your system and you ask a question like, show me the bonuses from 2025, if they don't have access to where those locations are at, they won't get that answer. But the people that do will. So remember, data governance is a big item here. If you're unsure at all, is my company ready? Do we have things locked down? Uh, this is something Stephen takes on personally, and him and his department do a fantastic job of finding out is the information you need under proper lock and key. So feel free to follow back up. All right. So at least so far, hey, I thought this was okay. I'm satisfied with these results. What are the next steps? And I do have to watch my time because I do want to leave some Q&A at the end. Let's go back and remember the initial items that we did where I just used basic instructions. Let's come in here and actually, I'm comfortable with changing these. I've done a lot of prompting. I've even told AI to help me write a prompt for what I want to do. So I could even copy this and say, go out to GPT, elaborate, tell me how to do this, but I've got one already prepared. So let's see. Let's get
While you're doing that, that's one of the things that I really like about Copilot and about ChatGPT. I might not know exactly how I want to say something, but I have a general direction, and I can just give it bullet points, and it can really help me craft it in a way that makes sense and can give good instructions to the agent.
good prompting. Literally go out in another window saying, I'm writing a prompt for a Copilot agent. Using
Mhm.
best practices for that agent and this information I give you here, help me write and craft a
Yeah.
prompt that
Yeah.
gets this result. And
Yeah.
literally, for example, when I ask this, it should give this. So
Yeah.
really here,
It might not give you what you get back, might not be perfect, but it'll, it's 70, 80, 85% there. And then you refine from there. And that's way easier than starting from scratch.
all right. So in this particular case, let's go down and ask it some information. So let's see some deals. Well, actually, let's actually ask it a different question. So, with a different set of instructions and telling it to selectively use things and how to structure the text and come back. Show me all the contacts at TechCorp and their roles, please, in a tabular format. So it'll be close to the one that we did above. It'll come back with some of that information, but you can even ask, what are the overdue activities? What items have yet to be accomplished? Who's late on different items that come in? So, oh, it's filling it out now. So it's pulling that in, but notice now it's actually putting it into a tabular format because I told it I prefer that where it's appropriate. So, what was the last outcome of the last call with Alice Lee? And I know Alice Lee is one of the people that work at TechCorp, and we have a sales rep. So literally, let it look up our activities and find the ones that are overdue or anything. Use this natural language and imagine how easy this is now where you don't have to fight and get a report. You don't have to train new people. You basically just turn them loose on something that's asking these intelligent questions and using some good prompts, you'll get the answers back. And I would strongly recommend every company spend an hour, go through and actually do some prompting with some individuals that you have that have this ability, and you'll find out they get much better results. And here's the outcome in this particular case. Notice it's using a little more bold here. It's even asking some of the other items to let us know. But hey, the last time looks like I reached out to Alice was 4/22/24. It was a call. We connected. And once again, it gave me that citation. Take me to that. I actually want to see that. You'll see here's the call with Alice at the top. And you notice there's multiple calls with Alice. Well, since I asked for the last one, it kind of knows, oh, let me look at the dates. All right, this is the last closed or actionable item that Alice had. All right, keeping an eye on the time, let me go ahead and saying I'm satisfied with this. What do I do now? So far it's just been a guy in a cube sitting here testing, but at least I'm satisfied with the results. I could go back, I could start to tweak. Once again, I'll show you a couple of things to tease the next set of videos, but remember I said there was a task-driven agent. Wouldn't it be great here if I said, create an activity for me to follow up with Alice next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And literally it goes out and puts it into the CRM for us and even tells us it's there. You can even have you set a reminder in that system, anything, depending on the system that you're using. We're going to add tools. We're going to give it that ability to not just read. We're going to have the ability to go out and write. So that'll be the next coming series is of how do I take this to the next level? Let's actually go over and look at channels. Now we're ready to publish this. How do we get it in front of people to actually use? Out of the box, most people will have only the top 3 abilities. You could put this to a demo website, which means without getting too technical, it'll put it into an iframe of your own company website. You could actually have it sit at the bottom and wait for somebody to ask it a question. Where we see most people using it, put it directly on a SharePoint page that you're probably using today. And for our experiment, let's put it into a Teams channel. Let's actually give it to some people to use where they could interact with it as they normally would. So I'm going to click Teams and Pilots. I immediately need to add a channel for it. It's going to yell at me saying, hey, you didn't publish this yet. You got to publish it first, and then I'll allow you to create a channel. So now in the background, we took that test Copilot agent we just wrote, and we're publishing it into the current environment that we're at. It takes usually a couple of minutes. I'm pretty sure we'll get to it quicker. If not, I've got an oven. I've got a cake already baked in the oven. If I have to, let's come in here and say, oh, it looks like the channel was just added. So it published and it did our channel. I did see something here saying there's a problem publishing your agent. I'll see if that's an issue. We may have to switch over. Once again, you're going to see everything with the warts. Let's come back in and close this out.
The risk of doing it live, right?
Absolutely.
What was the thing?
And come back in. Let's click it another time. It's possible because I didn't publish it the first time. Let's see. We need to publish your agent and go to publish. Oh, it's probably yelling me to do it from the previous screen. My bad. But at least it's telling you what was wrong. I just know, oh, wait, I've got to go back to the previous screen and I've got to publish this.
So, like we've been saying with AI for the last year, it's still in development. New things are coming out every day, and Microsoft honestly is changing where you do things. So, though you have a publish button on one screen, doing it from the main screen is always recommended and important. But if you don't get it in one place, continue to look around or poke somebody an email. If we can answer the questions quickly, we absolutely will. Isabella.
Success. Happy. Looks like there was a hiccup on the Microsoft side. So we got that out there. So now we're going to go back into our channels. If you'll show it to me, please. Oh, there's Insights, Analytics. Let's go to channels. All right, I'm going to hit my Teams. Now I notice I could edit the details. I could see it in Teams. I could put it in Microsoft 365 Copilot. That's a different discussion for a different day. If you're confused with all the words Copilot, you're not alone. I am too. They're going to standardize this and get a little bit better moving ahead. But let's edit the details. You can change the color. You could change the icon. You could change what it says, the description of how people find it. Do you want to release this to just a few users or your entire organization? You could put the developer's name out here, and depending on different links that you have, how people access this Copilot agent. So for us, let's just see it in Teams. So immediately it's going to launch into my Teams. I will have to stop sharing so you can actually see it over there and share my Teams screen. Uno momento, por favor. Let's see. We have our Teams here. AI web
Bases. I am being illuminated. Here, I'll sit back.
Jason, I think you need to come up with like a Copilot naming convention and drop it in Microsoft's suggestion box. You need to call it something, at least distinguish between them in a way that us normal people can understand.
It is confusing. I'm really, I mean, I've already seen this demo, but I think this is just really powerful, right? When I think about, we use HubSpot internally, and being able to get answers to, because, I get questions in Teams, being able to stay in Teams, access my agent, get the answers that I need without having to go and click into 7 or 8 forms or screens or whatever to get my answer. It's just a huge time saver.
Do you have Copilot on your phone?
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So imagine the scenario if we had a HubSpot agent for you on Copilot. and you had
Mhm.
Copilot on your phone and you're out and somebody teams you a question that you need out of HubSpot, asking Copilot about it without having to open HubSpot or get into a
Yeah.
website on your phone. Might keep you on the golf course longer.
All right. Hey, I'm showing my teams. Is everyone able to see
There
it?
we go. Yep,
Yes.
I can see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's come back in. Once again, I'm going to hit that button again because I had to actually minimize it in the previous screen. So hold on. Let's actually say I'm ready to share this with a group or a team or access. So as soon as I click that Teams button I saw previously, hey, here's your new Copilot and basically what it does and what permissions you have and who the developer was. Once again, you could share it with other people because you do need to share these out with different groups. When I hit add here, it's going to put it right in my left nav bar, and then I'm going to be able to pin it there. And then we're going to be it's live. Remember, this is no longer the development environment that we're doing it. So from here, let's actually look at it. Notice it pinned it right here. I can right click and pin this application. You can see we actually have some others that are out here. My backup copy. We have one we're doing internally for our tickets. We even have a dev guru here that it's the best practices we have here at Insight for developers. But here's our Copilot agent. So it's ready to go. This is the usually visually how you would like to see things. So if I were to ask who's the primary contact at FinServe, just like before, now you won't see how it reasons and gets there. But literally, notice even smart enough to even give you suggestions and cards to ask about different things. You could even go to and put things in a prompt library if you're not sure where to get started. But let's just ask the question. So now I ask the specific one. Hey, go out, find contacts. Oh, sorry, I may have to paste that again. I think I beat it to the punch. So now it looks like there's a human typing coming back to you. Really, I hate when they do that. It's actually buying time because it's looking this information up that you saw before through its different data sources, and it's going to come back. So I know it's a little harder to see here. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger with some zoom. But now it found the primary contact. So I had a column inside my contacts at different organizations. One was flagged as primary. So if I said, show me all contacts across all organizations, it would give me a huge table, but this is correct. It's got Bob Smith. It's got a fake phone number here and how to contact them. And notice it's still picking up, or if you need more details or wish to connect to another department, let me know. So it's trying to be useful. So
That's really cool.
it's now published. It's out there. I would have to take this link and share it with a group or a team, but at least we're interacting. Now, if I picked SharePoint, nothing's prevented us from dropping that onto a SharePoint page where if anyone goes to, they'll be able to bring that in from the side and start asking questions. So if we had our CRM or let's say where my document was at for how to use it, that would be a great place to put it as well. It's a one-stop shop for anything related to our CRM. I believe that's all that I had for today. I would love to leave a little more time to open this up to Q&A.
And I just got a couple of things to get through here with everybody. So one of the things that we anticipated people might want to ask is, okay, I get this. I see how to do this. Where do I start? And we talked about it as a team, and our guidance hasn't is the same as from the previous. The best place to start is to create a user group, right? Get people that are curious about this technology in the organization, get them talking to one another. That's where your questions are going to come up like, hey, wouldn't it be great if, and, kind of like how this demo came about. Then what you want to do, Eugene was talking about this a little bit earlier, particularly when we begin to start connecting agents to non-Microsoft 365 sources, right? We want to make sure that the environment is ready to be able to support that in a safe and secure way. And that's something that Insight can help you with. There's some other things to consider. Maybe if you're very early on and aren't ready to connect, or if you're going to have your executives perhaps be part of your user group, they might have access to everything anyway. That might be a workaround. But if it's a cross-functional team with different permission sets, you want to make sure you do that first. Then once you've got this in place, you want to start having them meet regularly to start talking about what should we do? What would be ideal? What are we going to build? And then they can start building it. You can start working with Insight to help you do that if you want. Make sure you're leveraging all of the resources that are available to you. Microsoft, we've talked about this in previous webinars. They have a gaggle of libraries and content that you can use. We've got a whole bunch of webinars on the topic that you can find on our YouTube channel. We'll be creating more content. By all means, please come back to these office hours as we continue to share with you. And then you create a little feedback loop for yourself as you're beginning to iterate and start working on these things. And so this is the ideal way to be working on this and to get yourself started. And speaking, as I said, of utilizing resources, our next AI office hours will be on December 11th. And so if you'd like to sign up for that, Eugene, will be, I guess this is part one. We'll be working on a tool-enabled agent for the next one. And so that'll be the next thing for us to do. So if you'd like to join, you can just, it looks like folks are dropping answers in the poll right now, or you can sign up at any of the options that we've given you there. Also, as I mentioned, next month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and you're not going to want to miss this upcoming session with Stephen Hicks. We promise that he won't dress up like a pirate like he did last year for end user training. He's got a really good package of content that he's going to want to cover from a privacy perspective. You're not going to want to miss that. For our winery clients, if you're going to be at the Direct to Consumer Wine Symposium, that's January 20th through the 22nd in Monterey, reach out to us because we want to hear from you, because we've got a great workshop that we're working on that's going to incorporate some of what we've been talking about here today. With that, I think we're ready for our Q&A. So please just drop your questions in the comments section, or you can also throw them into the the chat.
So I'm going to jump in here really quick. Eugene went through a lot of info. It's kind of like what people accuse me doing of feeding them with a fire hose. There was a lot of information in what he just went through. And wow, he deals with this in his sleep. So it seems very easy for him. Some of you, this is probably the first time you've seen a lot of this. And so we went through a lot of screens. We went through a lot of settings. We talked about a lot of whys. Why do we do some of the things that we do? Or why do we enable or check those boxes? I expect you to remember every single piece of those, and I'll be calling you next week to test you. Honestly, it's a learning curve, right? It's new technology. It's something you're going to have to iterate. Iterate's one of our favorite words these days. You're going to have to iterate through it, go through it a couple of times, or reach out and let us know you need help, and we're happy to jump on a quick consultation call to get you unstuck, to help you plan or strategize how you want to move forward with something, or even like how do you even begin, right? Jason went through a couple of steps that we recommend you do internally. But if you're looking for help to get over that next hump or just to get started, let us know. We're super, super invested in helping clients get to this level because we believe it's where we need to go, and we want to go with you.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do some of our pre-submitted questions and go from there. Our question number one: how can I build a tool that takes inputs, runs calculations, and helps quickly assess whether our project measure is worth pursuing?
So honestly, exactly the way we just did that. So if it were me, I would jump into Copilot Studio or something along those lines. I would tell it I need to build a tool that takes inputs and runs calculations to assess whether a project measure is worth pursuing. Now, you're going to need to tell it what that project measure is, or how to get to it, or how to calculate it. And when you say if it's worth pursuing, that question that comment needs to be qualified. So there's a calculation that happens. Hopefully there's an over under where it needs to make a decision or provide a best recommendation, any of those things. But start to work with the natural language input on this, and then supply it the knowledge sources of where to get its numbers to run calculations with, or source it inside of a SharePoint folder or inside of a OneDrive folder that you have locally. That would be my best advice of where to start with this. If you get stuck, holler. These are things that we can help get you unstuck with pretty quickly.
Yeah, it seems like folks are kind of on two. There's kind of like two ends of the scale. There's folks that are just getting started, right? In which case the guidance that we're laying out is really best. But there's other folks that are a little bit farther along. Seems like this might be where one of these questions is coming from, and you're looking for acceleration, and that's a place where we can help too. And it's really just a conversation with the team. We got a question that came into the chat before. How would we enable the Copilot Studio? Is it pay as you go, monthly subscription? Is it like other MS tools? I think that's a really interesting one because I thought that question might come up when you were showing the
Yeah.
environment in your demo, Eugene.
If you have a paid Copilot license, you get access to Copilot Studio. Um, Pay as you go does enable access to Copilot Studio as well. Pay as you go is also the method that you would use to give users access to the agents that are built inside of Copilot Studio without giving them a full Copilot license. Outside of that, there are other SKUs and other add-on licenses that you can get that give access or capabilities inside of Copilot Studio. Right now, and for the foreseeable future, Copilot Studio is on what they call a viral trial, which means you can sign up for a trial, go play in Copilot Studio, and then renew the trial after it expires in 60 days. I cannot tell you when they're going to discontinue that ability to renew, but for now, while it's out there in viral trial state, it's best to take advantage of it. That's also something that has to be enabled inside of the 365 Admin Center. Of course, Insight support can help turn those trial licenses on for you. If you throw a ticket on the support board, they'd be happy to help you out. Or light up your account manager and let them know that you're looking to get into it and play around inside of those spaces.
Yeah. Before we move on, Bonnie, I was just reading your comment to Michelle, and I know she answered it, but I just wanted to maybe weigh in a little bit too. I think this is overwhelming for everyone. This technology can do so many different things. It is so advanced, and it is moving so quickly that I think it's really easy to feel like, man, I just don't know where to start. And so you're in the right place, and whatever it is that we can do to help you, if it's, even if it's just a conversation, we're going to send out a link that includes this recording. Feel free to just reply to that, and we can just talk, right? Because I think I'm encouraged that you're here, and I really appreciate the comments. So thank you, Bonnie. Got a couple other ones here. Let's see. This is a follow-on question. It looks like for the studio. Roughly, how much do we pay per tenant?
I
Is the
don't know how to
question.
answer
Any idea?
that. I don't know how to
Yeah.
answer that necessarily. I don't know what the
Okay.
add-on license costs. I don't know what the price of that one is. A Copilot license itself is $30 per user per month, committed
Mhm.
annually, right? So you're committing to that license for 12 months. I can go check that, but if you want to ping me or reply to the email that comes out following this webinar and let them know that you're the one who asked that
Right.
question, I can get that information back to you. I just
Right.
don't have it right at my fingertips.
What we're seeing is anonymous attendee. So if you're a client, you can also reach out to your technical account manager, and he or she can just get the ball rolling for you.
Yeah, it's also important to note, they'll ask you a series of questions to find which one is best for you. So if we know how much you're going to be using things, I mean, there's a couple options. The pay as you go is one route. Sometimes you'll quickly find, oh, if I buy this license, I'll actually save money because that will allow me to run all of these other agents and tokens and credits. So once again, love to reach out, talk more about what your needs are, and we can steer you on the right path.
Yeah. All right. I think we got time for just one more. What's the best way to incorporate AI into everyday work? That one's a deep one.
Try. Just go play. So, I mean, there's all kinds of ways that AI can help you do things. It can look through your calendar, prioritize your email, or tell you what tasks are most important to you, or tell you the last time your boss yelled at you for something and needs some feedback, right? There's all kinds of ways to start using it, but the best way is to just start somewhere. So I recommend find one or two things to do on a regular basis that could or could not be time consuming. For me, a lot of times it's my email, right? I often have unread email in my mailbox. I need it bubbled up to the top. I need to know who's a client, who's an internal stakeholder, who is my boss, and what they need from me. And then I can assess if I can, I need to get back to them right away. So find some tasks that you can start, like you would ask, like an executive assistant or a junior engineer or junior person to your role. The same way that you would ask them of, hey, can you go sort through these files, prioritize them in the order that we normally use inside of our organization, make sure the one that I need to look at first is on top, and get them back to me by 5 o'clock, right? AI is going to get it back to you quicker. But if you can find some of these little tasks to start using AI, you'll start to get the feel for how to iterate. right? How to clarify questions, how to correct it when it comes back and maybe get something a little bit wrong. And in this way, you're teaching it to work better with you. And so you just getting started with the ball rolling. Um, ask it how to ask AI, honestly. That AI is going to be looking at your Teams, your email, your SharePoint document and stuff, the documents you create. Maybe ask it, what are the top 5 things you can help me with that are on my calendar today, right?
You
There'll
can
be a summary for the meeting I have coming up. What's that?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
we're at our time. So we had a handful of questions that we weren't able to get to. We will make sure to get written answers to those and get those out to folks. And we're just grateful that you guys carved out time to do this with us. Eugene, Michelle, as always, this was really enlightening, and I'm really glad you'd make the time. And this is not something that just happens. It takes real time to do it. Also, Aaron Krebs, you make it look easy, and we're grateful for all of your effort in doing our webinar programs. Stay tuned. We'll be back next month with end user training and with cybersecurity office hours, and then in December we'll be back with another installment of AI office hours. Until then, thanks so much, everybody. Have a good afternoon. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm going to stop my share. All right, Eugene, I'll stick around. We've got some folks filtering out, but I'll stick around in case there's any questions or anything. But thanks, man. It was really good. You did a great job. Great job.
Just trying to keep it easy, trying to relatable. More than happy to do these anytime you need.
You may regret that. All righty. All right. So we got 8 folks that are still on. I'm wondering if maybe you might have gotten up to get something to eat or something like that. So I'll stick around for just a minute more. If you got a question, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Maybe not a minute more. I don't know if I've got the patience to sit in silent for a minute. All right. Everybody have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Take